It's really nice to see you, and thank you for being with us today. As noted in your presentation, our State Treasurer is entrusted to provide safe, efficient, and effective stewardship of Commonwealth financial assets and to be the leader in financial integrity. And I've been reviewing your budget request and would like to begin by commending you on holding the line on expenditures for a few programs under your jurisdiction for the coming year, specifically the Tuition Account Savings Fund and the ABLE program. Thank you for that. But I do have a few questions for you. And as the chair of the Communications and Technology Committee, looking at page 12 under Information Technology Cybersecurity in your budget, I see that $340,000 was allocated in state funds for 2 authorized staff in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Neither of those positions were filled. And then in 2021, $344,000 again was available for 2 positions, and only 1 position was filled. What happened to the approximately $500,000 that did not fund personnel costs over the last 3 years?
Thank you for that question, Senator Phillips-Hill, and it's also great to see you. So the short answer is I can guarantee you that we have invested the entire cyber budget, so that $1 million line item, in Treasury defenses, and we have never asked for a waiver. So the funding is also used on hardware and software to train IT professionals, to simulate attacks, to test our defenses, and to implement other tools to monitor and prevent cyber attacks. So our cyber funding is $1 million, and it's used to help defend Treasury from hackers. And I have to tell you, there are a lot of them. So due to security concerns, I can't go into great deal about Treasury's cyber defense efforts, but PN and I would always be happy to come over to your office and discuss them in more detail. But I can tell you, in calendar year 2020, the Treasury firewall blocked an average of 6.1 million attempts per month to penetrate our network. So that's more than 200,000 attempts every single day. And in 2020, Treasury servers received 3.3 million spam emails, including many phishing attacks. So it's extremely important to fund our cybersecurity projects and resources, because we all know that cyber threats don't stand still. Their threats continually change, they evolve, and so must our defenses. And the last thing I want to end with is, if you put it in perspective, for $1 million a year, we're protecting over $117 billion of the Commonwealth's assets. And I thank you for your support.
I find that number to be staggering, and would appreciate having that conversation in the future, because certainly the Treasury has a huge information technology dependence, and making sure that we have the right cybersecurity expertise in place to protect those billions in assets is really important. Shifting over to Treasury and Commonwealth grant performance, you have the Treasurer's Transparency Portal. It's an extremely valuable tool for taxpayers. Under the Office of the Governor's Management Directive 305.20, grant administration agencies are required to file with the Treasury Department a copy of the grant agreement and any amendments within 10 days after the grant agreement is fully executed. So, unlike agency-issued contracts that result in intangible goods and services back to the agency, we know that grants from state agencies to outside entities are for the purpose of carrying out public policy and or implementing program service delivery. And a recurring question of concern from many constituents is, what is the measurable benefit from the more than $500 million of taxpayer monies that the Commonwealth awards through grants each year? So how can I find out what was accomplished and achieved by a specific grant over this period of time? Is that information readily accessible to taxpayers in Pennsylvania? Is there a way to obtain that other than filing a right-to-know request?
Not really. So we do have the contracts posted on the transparency portal under the contracts e-library. So users can go in, they can search on grant in the subject matter field, and you'll see a lot of these. Currently, Treasury does not receive any additional information about the grants. So if there are reporting requirements or analysis done by the department which issued the grant, we don't see that. Now, of course, this is all currently housed in the governor's office. But if the General Assembly believes it's important and directs the Treasury to do so, we would be very happy to make sure these are loaded in the transparency portal and make sure that they're easily accessible.
So you are receiving the grant information. It's just not available right now through a transparency portal.
No, so we're receiving the contracts in our contracts e-library, but none of the other documentation. That's all currently housed in the governor's office, and I can guarantee you that the governor's office doesn't have it all as well. So this would require legislation is what I'm saying to add the additional documentation.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your department's willingness to receive the information from the agencies, as well as your willingness to post that information through the transparency portal, and that sounds like some additional work that we need to do here in the General Assembly. Thank you very much. Treasurer Garrity, thank you, Mr. Chairman.